Well, without further ado, I'll introduce myself. You probably got my reminder email last night. I'm Adriana. I'm the Director of Industry Development with Central Counties Tourism. Also on the call, we have two of our industry relation managers, Sarah Sterling of York Region and Lisa John McKenzie of Durham Region. So you may have already met them before. It's a really nice turnout. So thank you all for joining us to learn more about the Culinary Tourism Alliance and their Feast On certification. I'm not going to steal the show. They have all the juicy content, like these juicy looking tomatoes. So I'm going to pass it over to Gabrielle and Shatij to take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You want to go for it, Shatij?
Okay. Yeah, all right, sure. I can go. Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Bonjour and Ani. Welcome to today's presentation on the Feast On. I'm Shatij and Gabby right here. So I'll tell you first about Feast On and about the CTA, and then Gabby will move on to some of the marketing benefits.
Awesome.
Right, we can begin.
So before we jump right in, just please do join me in acknowledging the significant contributions of Indigenous communities across tourism in all of its assets. I'm calling in today from Kingston, which is the ancestral territory of the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy.
Right. Okay, so I'm just going to first tell you about the Culinary Tourism Alliance and us. So we're a not-for-profit founded in 2006 that works to bridge the gap between the food and the drink and the travel industries. Our vision is basically to have food tourism recognized as a meaningful and sustainable contributor to local economies in destinations. We do this through three broad ways: through consulting, marketing, and programming. Consulting is done by a professional services team that sort of just consults with destinations in developing tourism strategies. Our marketing is, I'd say, the true storytellers who share your taste of place with our audience and amplify the voice of local business operators. And our third avenue is programming, where the Feast On program lives with our events department. I'd like to believe us to be the boots on the ground that work with our Feast On network to curate delicious events. Right, next, please. I'd just like to touch a bit on agritourism. It being a subset of culinary tourism that focuses on the production side of the food and drink by just showcasing unique processes, people, and the places involved. This presents a unique opportunity to enhance our work here at the CTA by just connecting the dots between local agriculture, culinary experiences, and tourism overall. Next, please. These are just a few examples about culinary tourism. Let's take the example number one, apple picking at a local farm or an orchard. This impacts the community and economy by engaging visitors with local agriculture, say supporting local economy and further fostering community ties. There's an educational opportunity as well, which offers insights into organic farming, apple varieties, and just promotes local agricultural awareness. Number two, Number two, let's say maple taffy while on a winter hike. Again, this is a cultural and interactive experiences which can focus on sustainability. Number three, having a local and a seasonal goods picnic at a remote location or a conservational area. Again, a connection with nature is extremely important here, and we get to showcase local producers and food artisans and the diversity of regional products. The next being a local fishing trip, for example, with a show lunch provided by a local chef. Again, this has an educational and an economic impact by supporting local economies and educating on sustainable practices, and again, emphasizing the importance on environmental stewardship. Next, please. Right. When I say that the people have spoken and they're hungry for local food, I cannot emphasize this enough. When I say that consumers want to see more locally produced foods in stores, in markets, as well as restaurants. The Ontario government has also recognized this interest as an excellent opportunity to strengthen the local food sector. And the Feast On program is actually one of the outcomes of, I believe, the 2005 to 15 Ontario Culinary Tourism Strategy. So now I'm going to tell you a bit about the Feast On program. Next slide, please. All right, so I could give you the sales pitch about Feast On being America's largest and longest running local food certification program. But at its core, we are a certification program that recognizes food service operators that are champions of local Ontario food and beverage. We'd like them to be, I mean, they're committed to sourcing and celebrating local Ontario food and drink. And we certify restaurants by auditing their books to assess their annual contribution to local ingredients. We also showcase growers and producers who are a crucial link to this movement. And the Feast On certification lets consumers know that businesses that they support contribute to the local food economy. And we are a pan-provincial program, and 2024 actually marks the 10th year anniversary of the Feast On program. I believe we were launched in 2014 with just about 30 restaurants in the network. And today we've got a little over 140 certified restaurants, experiences, growers, and producers. Next, please. There's actually a lot of greenwashing when it comes to local food, and we'd like to address that. And hence, we follow Foodland's definition of local, meaning that the ingredient must be grown, raised, and produced within Ontario. I just implore you all to check their website out for more details on finding local. Next, please. So we cover who is the Feast On Network. We've got restaurants and experiences, which are, of course, not only food service establishments. We do cover food trucks, pop-ups, and catering companies as well. We've got growers and farmers, which are, say, the backbone to our economy and this program. We work with farmers, cheesemakers, winemakers, so that covers breweries, distilleries, and cideries as well. We've got a few distributors like 100 km Foods. We've got Bondi, Flanagan's, etc., that we work with closely. And a few of our partners, of course, the destination marketing organizations. We've got sector groups, commodity groups. I think we've got the Dairy Farmers of Ontario and Canada Beef, etc. So we just work with people like that. So when I say it takes a village to create a movement, we're only as strong as our network is. And so we're just trying to constantly grow and add more businesses to our ever-growing network. Yeah, next, please. This is just a bit of a map, a visual image showing our ever-growing Feast On network at the moment. Yeah. Okay, the benefits of Feast On. So I'm going to tell you a bit about it, and then I'll give it over to Gabby. But basically, you've got invitations and events to events and workshops that we host on a regular basis. Being Feast On allows your consumers to know that the businesses that they are supporting makes contributions to the local food and economy. It sort of provides a way for businesses who are sourcing locally to come together under one brand and connect, and so it provides these food service institutions with a third-party stamp of approval for their local sourcing. We've also got voting privileges at our annual general meeting, as well as the ability to serve on our board of directors as well. Right, and what else? Of course, we add, I mean, by being Feast On, you add credibility to sourcing and or production practices, as well as access to educational and staff training programs that we host on a regular basis. Right, over to you, Gabby.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Satish. And it's nice to see everyone here today. I'm the marketing manager at CTA, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the marketing benefits that come along with the Feast On certification, should you decide to pursue it. So we've broken it into two different kinds of marketing benefits based on the goals of the businesses in the program. One is for an industry audience, and that would be more of a B2B marketing benefit. That's introductions to growers, producers, restaurants, just whatever you need to kind of get those connections rolling within our network. And then there's our consumer audience that we can get you in front of, and that would be through our Ontario culinary channels, which are really those storytelling pieces that are telling travelers where to get delicious food in Ontario, and our Feast On members are really the backbone of where we're driving that traffic. So for those in the consumer audience side of this, so if you're being a Feast On restaurant or an experience, a food truck, really those folks who have brick and mortar that visitors can come to and eat at or take part in an agritourism experience, the consumer audience is likely the audience you'd want to be in front of, but we can always have those conversations offline. But the marketing benefits for that are pretty awesome. So you get a unique profile page on ontarioculinary.com, all about your restaurant. There's a little bit of storytelling on there. There's a beautiful photo gallery, links to your socials and your website, and then a list of some of the local suppliers that you use if you are a restaurant or a food truck, what have you. We can give some love to the farmers that you showcase at your spot. You get a full year of ad space on ontarioculinary.com, and you can rotate that out anytime. You just send us an email, we make the update, but that's free. And it can link out to your website. You get love on our Ontario Culinary social media channels, which is climbing up towards 30,000 followers, and features in our weekly consumer newsletter, Do Something Delicious, which I will, Kshitij, if you don't mind popping the link for subscribing to that email in the chat. I encourage you all to do that. We've got a subscriber list over 8,000 people, so it's fairly significant, and it comes out weekly on Tuesdays. So a Feast On membership gets you a mention in one of those newsletters each year. And it also provides the opportunity to provide us with sponsored content. So if you have a great blog on your website or photos that you would like to see in our feed, we're kind of open all the time. This is an open line of communication. We always say a Feast On membership is really like a gym membership. You kind of get out of it what you put into it. So please feel free to reach out anytime with those pieces. We do our best to stay on top of it, but with, as Kshitij said, almost 140 restaurants in the network, it does get tricky to keep on top of everything at all times. Thank you for popping that in there, Kshitij.
Yeah, sure.
And so these are just an example of some of the things I was talking about. On the left here, this urban pantry there in the network, and this is their profile landing page. And then on the right here is the mention in the newsletter, the Ontario Honey Creations one. That's what that would look like. And then this is just a post on our social media. And we've really leaned more into the reel side of things as well. So there's an opportunity to provide vertical video content, and we can kind of recycle that for you and make it into something fun and interesting that food-driven consumers like to see. And then we have our industry audience. So this really lives on the culinarytourismalliance.com. And this membership is for folks like growers and producers, bakeries that maybe don't have a brick and mortar, chocolatiers, cheesemakers. Those middle ones there can kind of choose which direction they want to go, B2C or B2B, and craft beverage producers as well. So for this membership, they receive a unique profile page on the culinarytourismalliance.com, which is our industry website. They get a full year of ad space on ontarioculinary.com. We don't have that function on the industry website, but it does put your business in front of food-driven consumers. So it's never a bad thing. You get that full year of ad space on there. Love on our Culinary Tourism Alliance social media handles. Opportunity to provide sponsored content in very much the same way that I mentioned for the consumer audience. And then Kshitij's team, the boots on the ground, are happy to provide personalized intros to members of our Feast On network to help you grow your business. So if you're a grower and producer and you're trying to get your product into restaurant, we can make those chef introductions for you. So this is an example of what that content looks like on our industry website. So we can still do the blogs, we can still do the social media, the unique landing page. It's just living in a different spot. Okay, Kshitij, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Right, thank you. Again, super excited right now to be accepting applications for our Feast On signature events. Up until now, we've always had Feast On the farm events, which had a 2-day element of a consumer day or in an industry day. But as you all know, this marks our anniversary year, and so we'd like to change things up a bit. And so we have the next slide, please, Gabby. And so all events are actually fully planned and executed by the Culinary Tourism Alliance team. Each event will feature local culinary talent from the Feast On program to ensure that that the destination's foodways are reflected within the event. So we partner with chef talent as well as beverage producers to host a zero waste event. These are crucially during off-peak seasons. So this event sort of works that way and celebrates the foodways of a region so just provide an opportunity to educate customers about local food, as well as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, UNSGDs. And of course, every dollar invested in the event is reinvested back in the community through event rentals, food costs, and etc. Again, we do facilitate immersive learning experiences, and we have options to host either a consumer day or an industry day. We work with destinations to cater to specific needs. So we'd love to get in touch with you after this if you want to host a signature experience within your region. Yeah, I'm done actually. Thanks. Right, who's hungry for an adventure? I mean, yeah, of course, as I mentioned, if you all would like to get in touch with me about hosting an event in your region, you know where to find us.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us today, folks. We do want to encourage you to follow us on all our channels. They're listed here, but also let's keep the conversation going. Please feel free to reach out to Kshetraj if you are interested in the Feast On program. I think it's a great way to really just drive home to consumers that you care about your local economy, you want to put money back into it, and that you're not just greenwashing and saying you're using local. It's really that certified taste of place. So we have our contact here, but is there any questions or things we can answer? Anybody thinking about joining the program, and anything we can maybe help with? No.
I have a question, although I don't currently have a garden, so I'm probably pretty far off, but how rigorous is this kind of approval process, making sure that, the partners align with Foodland and other ways of kind of earning that certification? Like, what's that program look like from start to finish? Or sorry, timeline look like from start to finish?
Sure. So would you like to add something, Gabby?
Nope.
All right. So again, this entire process, I'd say from start to end takes anywhere between 1 to 3 weeks. So each business and obviously their procurement auditing looks differently, but we'd like to take data as to who your local suppliers are, how much of, say, produce you buy from them, and how much of that is local. And we look for a minimum of 25% needs to be local Ontario produce. We understand that obviously you can't buy 100% local, as much as we'd like you all to, but we look for a minimum of 25%. So after you all send in the numbers, we take about a week or so to process them, because we, on our side, contact the suppliers to vet to see whether these purchases are actually true or not. Just again, to add to the integrity of the program. So yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the president of Chinese Cuisine and Culinary Association of Canada. So we have around 800 members. They are operating restaurants here. So I want to know if we are going to give them a guideline or a guidebook with all these, they all go to a either a trading office or is a trading company where they go to supermarket to buy their produce. So they go to their Euro places to get a produce. Maybe in the past they didn't really distinguish with whether that is local or that's from Mexico or that's from China. So can we give them a guide list that where you can go and what kind of vegetables they are yearly produced in local, so that kind of thing. So when they pay attention, they will understand, okay, they are qualified, or they can do a little bit more to be qualified.
Yeah, I think that's sort of where connecting, we have a list of preferred growers and producers we can connect them with.
Yeah.
So really, if they are looking, they just don't know where to source from, we can point them in the direction that way.
Yes.
Is that sort of what you're looking for?
Yes. Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really the Feast On growers and purveyors. We can share that, and they are listed on our website as well. So that's a really good place to start.
Okay.
Also, just like to add something as of now. I'm going to send a link in the chat This is Foodland Ontario's webpage right now, and this is with regard to what you mentioned about what's local and what's in season, which ingredients are not. So if you access the link right there, there's an availability guide which shows you through the year which fruits, which vegetables, what's in season, what's not in season, what you should be expecting during a certain period of time. So that if that helps.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm seeing a few here in the chat, Kshitij. There's one that said, are you able to share pricing around hosting a signature experience?
I can. Just give me a moment. I believe, I mean, I can share the link of our website again, but
this one really varies because in previous years we've hosted Feast on the Farm, and what we've realized is that our partners are looking for more flexibility when it comes to events. So this year we're sort of taking a more holistic approach. So we can do Feast on at a winery. We can do, it can be as big or as small as you need. We're being a little bit more flexible that way. So the pricing will really vary. But generally speaking, it's a partnership between the host spot, the destination. So either the regional tourism organization like Central Counties or a destination marketing organization that would be like Whitby or Durham. So it's usually a shared cost. Kristen, sorry, I see your hand up.
Thanks. Sorry. Hi, I am actually from Durham Tourism, so that's perfect timing. So we did host a Feast on the Farm, but I was just wondering what the difference is then. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the difference between a signature experience versus Feast on the Farm. It's just a matter of it doesn't have to be hosted on a farm. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So we did the one at
still same setup.
It can look like that, or we can work with you to make it look different. Basically, we're just trying to be a little bit more flexible in how we go about it, but that's still completely doable.
And do you ever, sorry, can I add a second question?
Of course.
Do you ever sort of tap into an already existing event that may be occurring on a farm and just sort of add to the experience?
I don't think we have we, Kshitij?
No, I don't think so. It's an interesting.
Doesn't mean we couldn't.
Honestly, exactly.
Okay, just maybe something for us to talk about if we need to. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love to connect. I'm seeing one here that says, I'm joining in from Saskatchewan today. I'm curious as to if this program exists in other provinces. Thank you for that, Ashley. It does not exist in other provinces. This Feast On program is purely Ontario, but as of January, the Culinary Tourism Alliance actually expanded nationally. So while our Feast On program isn't in other provinces yet, we are working with other provinces to start telling their food stories, and you can find those on canadaculinary.com. There's another one.
Oh. Yeah, I have another question.
Sure.
So I know some supermarket owners, and they also the farmers. They also had their own farms. And now they migrate some of the seeds from overseas, which is really popular. For example, Japanese melon, and they successfully grew it here in their farms. And I tried them. It's really, like the original ones. Has very high density of the sugar, and they also use it not as only a fruit, but they also make it into appetizers. So I'm wondering, will those be, belonging to that category as the Ontario local produce?
Yep, as long as it's grown here.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is a really cool way of preserving culture, is to actually grow foods that are from other countries, bringing them here. But if it's being grown and raised in Ontario, that's local.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Have we missed and just going here? Kshitij, could you talk a little bit about the pricing around membership to becoming Feast On certified?
Yeah, sure. So all businesses, be it a restaurant, an experience, or anything of that sort, attracts an annual fee, which is $500. That being said, we have funding right now at the moment. I can't comment on to how long it'll last, but we've got funding to actually waive your first year's fees for free. So after this, get in touch with me and we can figure something out for sure. Because we're obviously all about helping out small, medium-sized businesses. And we understand that this is an extremely difficult time right now in the industry, and any sort of support, be it financially or physically, can be of help. So we just like to offer as much as we can right now.
For sure. I'm just trying to flip through here, make sure I haven't missed anybody. Are there any other questions we can help answer?
Is there a deadline to apply for that?
A deadline?
Yeah.
No. Sorry, do you mean for the funding or do you mean for the certification?
Oh, certification.
No, that's open all the time, right, Shitish?
It's open all the time, yes. We do have 2 renewal cycles, which you'll fall under, but you can apply anytime, 365 days. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, can we also have the slides that you talk about? Because we have a newsletter we send to all the restaurant members. We already sent one before this feast on about this when we got your information, but we would like to give them a follow-up information through the newsletters.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we can connect offline on that for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I actually have a couple more questions. I'll try to keep it short. Can something like, I think Kristen even hinted on it a bit, like an existing event or an existing, like, we're really big on kind of routes in our region. So we have like a country path, which a few of the participants, I believe, are like the Honey Creations, I believe is on the country path. So are you able to certify, again, a route of some sort, or how does it work when it's kind of like a collective?
Ooh, that's fun.
That type of experience also has this stamp along with it and can maybe benefit from the promotions.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'd cater and we'd I don't know, like mold our certification according to groups like this. So we've had, say, talks with the HASCAP Growers Association of Ontario. Again, we've worked something out differently with them. So of course, for your specific need, we'd love you to get in touch with us, and then we could work that out.
I love that idea of having a feast on certified route where everyone on the route is like
that'd be cool.
Vetted and yeah, that's a really cool idea.
And I think lastly, it's just around like timing, like in terms, not timing as in, I know you answered that question like 1 to 3 weeks, but right now it's kind of the quiet season, obviously not a lot growing unless it's in greenhouses. So is there kind of a sweet spot you find for certain types of applicants to have the time to do the paperwork, or do you really need it to be, kind of during when the season gets going to have those kind of more real-time verifications and receipts, or is now a good time because it is a little bit quiet? So there's time to gather up those types of, evidence from maybe the previous season.
I mean, we'd leave it to the business. Each business operates differently and shoulder seasons work differently, and which is why we sort of certify restaurants throughout the year. So of course, yes, right now being not so busy time for, say, food service operators, they could use this time to, say, pull up reports and get the data down to us, or be it maybe in the summertime if someone has time at that time.
Okay.
That way we're flexible, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that's all. Those are all the questions I have. I don't hog from anybody, but also looking back at the chat. And again, I'll follow up with both contact information here, all the links, and then, any personal connections can be made from there if you want that one-on-one support. So all of this will come to everyone here and anyone who may have missed it as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adriana, and for everyone for joining us this morning. If you do have a question that you think of after we've all hung up, please don't hesitate to reach out to Kshitij or I. Awesome.
Right. And I've shared another link on the chat right now. Actually, if you'd like to get in touch with me personally and get your restaurant or business Feast on certified, there's a form at the end of that page, and that'll lead directly to me. So look forward to being in touch.
Yeah, you have like an extra half an hour to send that email right now. Why not, right? Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks.